Honey, I'm home from work.
Oh, I have to tell you about something Jimmy told me about at the playground.
Little Jimmy?
Yeah, little Jimmy. He told me about this thing called Watch Party.
Oh no, they were talking about that at the water cooler today.
I'm so worried. What have you heard about it?
Well, I heard that it was a lot of like-minded people showing up to watch educational video.
No, I heard they have snacks.
Free snacks and drinks is what I heard as well.
That's how they get you. And you know what? I'm sure it's gonna be expensive.
Actually, I heard it was free.
I heard free is a gateway drug.
You know what? This watch party thing doesn't sound so bad.
No, not another one.
Watch party for educational purposes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hello and welcome back to PopCorn Poppin Live, your weekly movie, TV, and streaming guide. There's too much content in the world and you can't be wasting your time, so let me waste my time for you by watching all that looks vaguely interesting and letting you know what's poppin' and what ain't. Tonight, we're going to go through a few things. No TV shows. In fact, we just have some spotlight films. A few films in theaters and one dropped on Netflix as well. Can't forget good old Netflix for the good old time that they have. So the first movie we're going to be talking about today is MaXXXine with 3 X's in there. So if you haven't seen X or Pearl, basically X takes place around the 60s or 70s, and it's about these youngsters that are trying to film a porno and on someone's farm. And this old couple owns the farm, and MaXXXine is this stripper that's trying to be a big star and starts with porn first. This old lady, and this MaXXXine's played by Agatha. The old woman is also played by Agatha as a different character. We don't know much about her except that she used to be very vivacious and can feel herself getting old and wants to get back into the sexing that she used to once have. And she starts killing people. Pearl is the prequel, which is the old Mia Goth character, now young in around the 20s, I believe. And she's crazy. She kills people. So she killed people at a young age, killed people at an old age. And then the third film is MaXXXine, which is a direct sequel to the original X. And poppin' or not, overall, I'm going to say poppin'. For the first 2/3 of the film, I thought that this was my favorite amongst all of them. I'm serious. Up until you figure out who this serial killer is, I loved it. The cast is awesome. Kevin Bacon's in it. He's really, really good. He plays like a slimy character that you don't see him usually play. And you probably wouldn't. I didn't full on recognize him until like later on in the film, which was good makeup, but also just good acting. Like he's a slimy meatball in this. And Mia Goth, of course, crushed it. The director, Ty West, did a great job at making it like a love letter to Hollywood, but also like keeping in the dark pornographic themes and how dangerous sex can be amongst young actresses, especially those that are trying to make it in Hollywood. And in this film, she gets a big role in a big movie, but there's this serial killer going around that's a copycat to a real serial killer in real life. The Night Stalker, I believe he's called, or she. And they don't know who the killer is. And MaXXXine is getting notes and videos from this faux Night Stalker that's trying to fuck up her life. And she's trying not to fuck up the movie, so she needs to take life by the balls and figure out who this killer is. Up until that point, excellent film. I'm like, this is a great movie, dude. Excellent job. Way better than the first and second. And then when they reveal who the killer was, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, that's when everything went downhill for me. I didn't like the acting of that serial killer, and there was so much monologuing that I was really, really tired. You should watch the first film in order for it to all come around, for sure. In general, you should watch the first film. It would make more sense. You could watch all these separately and it will still work, but I would recommend watching all of them if you want to. Now, that last third was a real drag, man. It really brought me down personally. And I still think that the movie is worth watching overall. Just be aware that the last third, I didn't really like it. When they have this serial killer and the monologuing, everything that followed after just kind of seemed like fan fiction, something that everyone wrote to Ty West on how they would like MaXXXine to conclude her trilogy. And he did that. Like, I don't know. I wasn't too satisfied with that third act. One thing that I really liked was, as a character is dying that said that they always wanted to be an actor in Hollywood, their hand grabs the Hollywood sign. They said, I've lived here for 20 years. I've never actually been up here. And he leaves his mark on the Hollywood sign, and that's his bloody hand. I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of really cool touches from a cinematic element, from a storytelling element that's really good as the film progresses. There are some really, really specific kinds of deaths that you haven't seen before, and it's good. It's just that last third I didn't appreciate. But if you've seen this, let me know what you think. I would say I recommend it to horror fans in general. And I will say amongst the X trilogy people that really, really love Pearl and don't give a shit too much about X, you'll enjoy the film as well, especially if you like really, really love these movies. In general, I think people will walk out going like, yeah, it was all right. Because that's what I heard from the crowd. It was like, yeah, it was good, except for the end. And you can feel the theater like drag down. You can see MaXXXine in theaters right now. And you can check out Pearl on Netflix. X, you have to rent. Kill, which is in theaters right now. I don't think we had talked about this. If we had, it was only for a brief amount of time about me talking about the trailer. But this is basically Indian John Wick on a train. The film is in Hindi, so you do have to read subtitles if you want to go see it in theaters right now. And pacing-wise, it's pretty dope. The first 20 minutes, you're like, when is he going to get into kill mode? And when he gets into kill mode, it literally comes up with the title card, kill, right after something huge that happens. And you're like, oh, shit, the movie's really going to start now, huh? Now, for those first 20 minutes, it's like establishing who these characters are and showing some badassery still, including everything that's happening on the train. However, it really kicks in when you see that title card. And it's got some badass moves in this. If you like John Wick-esque movies, you will enjoy this. The acting was fairly good, even amongst, like, there was a lot of characters that were like henchmen that were still three-dimensional. And the bandits that are on this train that our hero is trying to save, he's not trying to save them, who's trying to take down the bandits, it's all one giant family. So they are all a lot more connected to others that are dead. And there's this one long scene of them finding dead bodies and just them crying. So these bandits aren't just heartless villains. They actually have hearts and they care about their coworkers or teammates that are dying as well. So I think that thing is happening again, where I have no idea if anyone's in this room right now. So if you are and you're commenting, thank you so much. Share, like, subscribe. But if you're commenting, I can't see you. I can't see anyone that's in here. So hopefully someone's watching. Poppin' or not for Kill? I'd say it's poppin'. You don't need to go see it in theaters. I wasn't uncomfortable, but I was like ready to go halfway through, because these kind of movies, you kind of get the point, especially when it's all in one location. You're like, all right, let's really get this going. And they do. It's just, I would have rather had watched this at home. They are already working on an American adaptation of this film, and Chad Stahelski, I believe, I'm always pronouncing his name incorrectly, who directed the first John Wick, is set to produce this film. So this is going to be a pretty badass John Wick meets Bullet Train meets Taken meets etc. etc. What was the last new movie that came out that wasn't in theaters, but I would have saw it in theaters happily, was Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Now, I told you guys last week that this is the fourth. I said that this was the fifth entry. I was under the impression up until last week, that there were 4 Beverly Hills Cops. I always thought that there was. I don't know where I got the 4th one. That's my B. Having said that, this is the 4th installation. I rewatched the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd beforehand. 1st is a classic. I love it. 2 is a lot of fun and a lot more Judge Reinhold and Taggart as well, which I really enjoyed. I was just very surprised. Granted, it got a lot more hokey, a lot more scenes of Eddie Murphy laughing for no fucking reason. That was too much. That was placating a little bit to the audiences of the first film. But they're classic films. Rewatched 3, which is bad. It all takes place at an amusement park. Very stupid. Apparently, originally, they wanted to put Axel Foley in another country, like Tokyo or something like that. I can't remember specifically, but they were going to have him be Tokyo Hills Cop or something. And 3 had a lot of production nightmares, specifically because Eddie Murphy and John Landis, the director of the 3rd film, had a lot of beef because of Coming to America. I'm not sure what the bad shit that happened with Coming to America's production, but they hated each other like badly. However, for some reason, Eddie Murphy brought John Landis back to do Beverly Hills Cop 3, but Eddie Murphy was really depressed because apparently his movies that were coming out around the time weren't doing so great at the box office. So he wanted to do the character more serious, more like Denzel Washington, and less like Ace Ventura. I'm not saying we want you to be Ace Ventura, and we're not saying that you're not a badass, Axel Foley, but we are seeing it for you to be funny as well. So no, you can't be Denzel. You can't have all your eggs in the same basket. As the movie progressed, and as you know that fact, you do in 3 I'm talking about, you can see a little more of a serious Axel Foley. And it works. You know, he's getting older. He's more seasoned. He would be a little less nonsense of a character, but you do have to have the comedy in there, and you got to have it somewhere outside of an amusement park. And with 4, we have the first 15-ish minutes taking place in Detroit, and I think they did Detroit good. I think they did Detroit proud, I'd say. I think it's pretty apparent that they didn't film in Detroit, at least for a few scenes, but I was under the impression that we were in Detroit. It felt real, and it felt very Detroit-esque, so props to you, movie. And, of course, when he gets to Beverly Hills, everything's fun. We get a solid amount of Judge Reinhold. You want a little more Judge Reinhold? You get more Taggart than you get Judge Reinhold. I'm not complaining because I was kind of scared that this old guy that is Taggart was going to be way too old to be an actor anymore, because I haven't seen John Astin in anything. But he's actually very good in it. And you do wish the whole time that him and Judge Reinhold had more scenes together, but they do have a few scenes towards the end. So fun action-wise, funny comedy-wise, there wasn't that much to think about. He does have a kid in this, and when I knew that, I was like, oh, God, don't do Coming to America where it's about the kid more than it is about the character we're going to see. But no, Taylor Page's, I can't remember her character's name, but Lil Foley, she does an excellent job. I like Taylor Page a lot. I think she's a badass, sexy as hell, and apparently pretty good at improv, at least the few scenes that seemed like they weren't written and had them two bouncing off of each other. They're very good at arguing with one another. Very good father-daughter chemistry. Just a great job, Taylor Page. So, Poppin' for sure. Definitely better than the 3rd. Probably not better than the 2nd, and no one will fuck with the OG. You can check this out on Netflix right now. If you want to watch the others, I know 1 and 2 are on Netflix, but you don't need to watch 3. Just skip 3. I think 3 is on Paramount Plus. So, having said all of that, I am the Popcorn Poppy. If I didn't already introduce myself, my name is Hove, H to the O-V, not literally. What is the topic of the evening? One of the Poppin Questions a couple weeks ago was, who are your favorite bad guys? And I'm like, I feel like that's more of a huge segment than it is just a real quick question to answer. Now, notice that these segments go a little long. So we're going to start with some honorable mentions of some of my favorite villains in history. And then we'll go on to my absolute favorite. There's like 25 absolute favorite, and there's a few others as well. So let's get through the few others. And if this is something that you think I'm forgetting someone that you don't like and you can't believe is on this list, fucking comment and make sure that I know this shit. Or if there's someone that you think that should be on here that isn't, let me know. I feel like I'm missing a lot, but through all the research that I did, let's see what I did remember, and that hopefully you'll agree with. This is one of the OG ones, and that is the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, which you can check out on Max right now. If you haven't seen 2001 before, it's one of a classic Steven Spielberg, Stanley Kubrick films. It's a little confusing and it's a little out there, but it is very good, specifically with this storyline, because this is something that could happen more now than it could then. And I think they did a good job grasping on the fears of technology. Jack Torrance from The Shining. I mean, all work and no play. All work. And he never says the line, so I can't really. All right. Here's Johnny. Supposed to be doing an impersonation of each villain, so let's keep doing it with the impersonations. I don't want to give any spoilers, but the villains from 2 separate Screams. One is, you're no Sharon Stone. All right, Sid? That's my Matthew Lillard. I'm crazy Emma Roberts. I got crazy after this movie, and I ended up crazy in a bunch of Ryan Murphy shit. But no one knew that Emma Roberts could be crazy until this film, and then she like oversaturated the market with her craziness. I do think that she's a good actress. I think she just did a little too much craziness after this, because it was a surprise in this movie. Stringer Bell. Are you taking notes on a government fucking conspiracy or an underground conspiracy? I can't remember the line. Someone help me out. This is from The Wire, which you can check out on Max right now. I'm Suzanne Stone. We come to this theater because you don't want to see Nicole Kidman introducing the movie you're going to see, unless it's the movie To Die For. Very underrated film. You can rent it right now. It's about an anchor woman that ends up missing, and we're trying to discover why she's missing. You might think that she's the hero, but she's really the villain. Al Swearingen from Deadwood. I can't do a proper mimic of this, but $4 to the one that can figure out the words that I'm trying to say or articulate, because I use such big words in this David Milch production. But it is a very good Western that also has Timothy Olyphant and not a very good Anthony Wellman impersonation of Al Swearingen. Another role that Ian McShane played that was a great villain role was Mr. Wednesday from American Gods. I only watched the first season and a handful of episodes after. I hear the show declines, mostly because Brian Fuller left the show, which is why I kind of quit. But he's an excellent villain in this nonetheless. He does play a god, and I guess I won't spoil for you who the god is. It's not that big of a surprise, but I guess it is kind of a surprise, so I won't share it with you quite yet. I don't want anyone from this fucking family to take over my succession. None of you fuckers are going to succeed, all right? Only me, Logan Roy. That's my Logan Roy. I don't think it's that good. But you can watch Succession, the entire series, which is totally worth it on Max right now. I can't do a Jessica Lange. I just think of an old Southern belle. I couldn't really pick a role from any of the American Horror Stories. I just know that she was a good badass in any of them. You might not even be able to call her a villain in some of these roles, but we'll just say Jessica Lange in general. But you can watch any of American Horror Stories on Hulu right now. Thanos goes without saying. What's the line? I am inevitable. And I am Iron Man. You can check out any of the Thanoses, mostly in all the Avengers in Disney Plus. Jaws goes without saying. The Shark. You can watch all of Jaws' on, I think all of them are on Max as well, but I do know that all of them are on, I guess I don't know. Peacock? I think all of them are on Peacock as well. I never saw more than one Jaws. I hear 2 isn't that bad, so I might give it a shot. Scar from Lion King. Let me see if I can do a Scar. I killed Mufasa. You can watch that on Disney Plus. Max Caddy from Cape Fear, one of Martin Scorsese, probably not underrated amongst the grand audience of cinema, and people who love cinema know Cape Fear really well, but I feel like not enough people know Cape Fear as well as me. And those people are my age, and they should know Cape Fear because Robert De Niro's Max Caddy is pretty sinister, motherfucker. And you can check this out by renting it. Me, Johnny Tapia, will sever your head off. Bad Boys 2, that guy. He isn't like one of the best villains in cinema, but I had a connection to Johnny Tapia because I fucking loved Bad Boys 2 when I was a kid. I watched it a gajillion times. And Johnny Tapia was a pretty good villain in it. Owen Davian. You don't see much of Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3, even though he is the main villain in it. And how is he supposed to be one of your favorite villains? Because he's got that opening scene where he does a countdown before he kills Ethan Hunt's wife. It's a pretty suspenseful scene. And for that scene alone, he's a pretty good villain. Hugh Lee, which is the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon girl from Rush Hour 2. Excellent. And a great final fight scene with her and Chris Tucker. I thoroughly enjoyed her performance in this film. Trunchbull from Matilda, which you can watch on Netflix right now. Not the musical, although I can't remember her name. I can't remember her. Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson did a good job at Trunchbull in the musical version, but no one fucks with the OG. But she did do really, really good in the musical version. U-Turn from Weeds. I think only the first season. I can't remember if he's in season 2 as well, but I'm pretty sure he's the main villain of season 1. Excellent job. Excellent work. You can check out Weeds has some seasons that are better than others, but overall the show is worth watching, and you can check it out on Hulu or Peacock. Killmonger from Black Panther, you can check out on Disney Plus. Michael B. Jordan knocked it out of the park. Definitely his best role. And every role is kind of a mirror of Killmonger. Fight me if I'm wrong. Negan, who kind of ruined Walking Dead because they prolonged his character as long as possible. And I didn't think that kind of bummed me out. I knew that they were never going to kill him off. And he outlived the series and has his own. And I think that's kind of lame. But I do like the character a lot. Moriarty, played by Andrew Scott on the Sherlock miniseries, Sherlock, the best Moriarty for sure. Bricktop loves Tommy in Snatch, which you can check out on Pluto. The Devil. There are several good devils, and I guess I could have made like a subcategory of the best devils in cinema, but let's just go with the 2 that I really, really enjoy. That's Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled, which you can rent right now. Excellent film. And also Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves, and that you can rent right now. Shooter McGavin, one of the best villains in cinema. You can check him out in Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore 2, ? While Happy Gilmore 1, you can rent it right now. I'm sure it will be on Netflix soon because Netflix is producing Happy Gilmore 2. Grosser. Not many people have seen John Cusack's Gross Point Blank. Very underrated film. Check it out. It's a very fun assassin film that takes place at Grosse Pointe in Michigan. You can rent this one right now. Dan Aykroyd's villain is not very sinister. He's just funny and fun, and that kind of does make him a little sinister as well. John Doe from Seven. Say what you want about Kevin Spacey. He's one of the best actors to have ever lived. I mean, he acted like he was not a horrible monster for so many years. He's very good at villains as well. And in Seven, there is no exception because John Doe is fucking nuts. And you don't meet him till the end, and it's crazy. Speaking of Kevin Spacey, Frank Underwood, best villain, one of the best villains in cinema. Like, he's up there, dude. He's really up there. We just don't talk about it because we're a little scared of talking about Kevin Spacey. But hey, he did too good of a role, of a job at this role. Tuco, the Salamancas. Now we're reaching my absolute favorite villains. And the Salamancas, we have Tuco from seasons 1 and 2. We have Lalo from Better Call Saul. We have Hector from both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. And we have Gus Fring from both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Both shows of which you can watch on Netflix right now. Both shows of which are absolutely worth it. Breaking Bad's better than Better Call Saul. But Better Call Saul is excellent. And I liked Better Call Saul's last episode way more than I did Breaking Bad's. I said it. I don't know about last season, but I did like the last season a lot of Better Call Saul. Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York. Martin Scorsese's maybe best film. I've seen this movie a gajillion times, and this might be my favorite villain ever, but Daniel Day-Lewis really, really, really knocks it out of the park. And you can check this out on Max. If you haven't yet, check it out. It's one of the best films ever made. The Orphan Girl from Orphan. You know, that plot twist, for one, is a serious indication of why this actor did such a great job. But in general, she's really, really good in this. Very good film. You can check out Orphan. You can rent it right now, or you can also watch the prequel film, Orphan First Kill, on Paramount Plus. Speaking of child killers, there's the good son, who's really not such a good son. I'm not talking about Elijah Wood, but I'm talking about Macaulay Culkin. Knocked it out of the park as well. Look at all these baseball players. If you haven't seen The Good Son yet, you can rent it right now. We have a twofer when it comes to Walton Goggins. He did Boyd Crowder, one of the best. You can really call him like an anti-hero villain. A lot of these you can argue are anti-villains or anti-heroes, but Boyd Crowder being one of them, and Walton Goggins, the ghoul on Fallout. Boyd, you can check out on Hulu, Justified, and Fallout is on Prime. I mentioned this character last week as a female badassery kicker. Badass ass kicker. Her name's Lena Olin, I believe. But her character's name is Mona Demarkov, who you can check out in Romeo is Bleeding, which is on Prime right now. Excellent neo-noir film with Gary Oldman. The Invisible Man is one of the best characters in cinema, period. I watched the original Invisible Man a couple years ago when I went through the old monster movies, and I still have a few to go, by the way. But the Invisible Man kills hundreds of people in that movie. He's fucking crazy. So the character of the Invisible Man, I really want to see adapted very well. And I think the original was really great. You can rent that right now. You can check out Kevin Bacon's Hollow Man, which is a great job as well. You can check that out on Pluto. And there is the Elizabeth Moss version of Invisible Man. Very different film, definitely scarier, and has a really good message as well, and doesn't like knock you over the head with the message. It's just a really good suspenseful film that she honestly probably could have been nominated for. She should get a nomination for an Academy Award sometime soon because she is a very underrated actress. Homelander from The Boys. Need I say more? Look at that titty milk loving superhero. Tyler Durden, but we can't really talk about that. Anton Chigurh. If you haven't seen No Country for Old Men, it's a slow burn. It's a very slow film, but man, if this is not one of the fucking scariest people you'll ever see, it's Javier Bardem, Anton Chigurh, which you can check out on Pluto right now. Norman Bates, I don't want to give away anything, but you should check out Psycho, and you should check it out by renting it. I should have had his picture here too, but Vince Vaughn played Norman Bates in a shot-by-shot remake of Psycho with Anne Heche and Julianne Moore. It's weird because it's literally a shot-by-shot remake, but it is actually very well made. I don't know where you can check out that remake, but I would recommend it. We actually just got done talking about No Country for Old Men's Anton Chigurh as one of the best villains. So good job, Jordan Colbertus. Yeah. So next, Agent Smith from the Matrixes. Mr. Anderson, surprised to see me? Well, there's more and more of him in Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. And for some reason, they replaced him in 3. That's super weird. Not 3, I'm sorry. In Revelations. I can't remember what the fucking 4th one was called, but it wasn't very good. But Agent Smith is a dope villain in the first 3. I didn't really love him in the 4th one. Freddy Krueger. I didn't want to get too much into horror with this category tonight, but I had to mention Freddy Krueger. What's scarier than never being able to sleep or you'll die a horrible, horrible death? Nightmare on Elm Street, which you can watch the first one and probably many others. You can rent. I think there's a few of them on Max right now, though. The T-1000 from Terminator 2. You can check this out on Pluto or Paramount Plus. Probably the best Terminator for sure. Alonzo Harris from Training Day, played by Denzel Washington in his 2nd Academy Award win, and the first Best Actor win from Denzel Washington, which is wild that they haven't done that in a while. The Joker. I mean, we've had a lot of Jokers, okay? But no one can argue that Heath Ledger's is not the best. And a lot of people said, no one can touch Jack Nicholson's Joker. No, Heath Ledger can fuck that shit up. And he did. He knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park. I'm saying that too much tonight. The Grubers from Die Hard 1. You have Hans, played by Alan Rickman. And you have, what the fuck's the other Gruber's name? Simon Gruber from Die Hard with a Vengeance, played by Jeremy Irons. He plays a pretty good Gruber. We have Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards, played by Christoph Waltz. Need I say more? You can check out Inglourious Bastards. You can rent it right now. I want to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in a while. Otto West from A Fish Called Wanda. Sure, he's a comedic villain, but he's pretty fucked up. He eats an animal in this. I don't want to tell you what it is, but it's quite a shock. And Kevin Kline did a great job with it. The Purple Man from Jessica Jones, played by David Tennant. David Tennant is one of the best actors in anything, theater and cinema. And he's like literally up there, like top 5 best actors who've ever lived today, for sure. And if you haven't seen Jessica Jones, you don't need to watch Daredevil and this and that. You can just watch Jessica Jones. You should watch Daredevil, though. It's an excellent show. Luke Cage is actually a lot of fun, too. Iron Fist? No. The Defenders? No. Although it's okay, but still. Anyways, Jessica Jones, Purple Man, dope. Fletcher from Whiplash, played by J.K. Simmons. What a scary sight to see. And you can check out this site by renting it right now. Next up, the Hannibals. If you haven't seen a Hannibal, you can check out Silence of the Lambs on Prime, or you can check out the TV show on Prime as well. The first Hannibal Lecter was actually Brian Cox in Manhunter. Then Anthony Hopkins played Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon. Silence of the Lambs is the best out of the movies. The show it's really hard to choose between the show and Silence of the Lambs, but I will say Anthony Hopkins did a better job. It's more iconic, but Mads Mikkelsen still did a maddening good job as well. The Gone Girl. I don't want to get into too much of this without ruining the movie for you, but if you haven't seen it, fucking watch it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. You can rent it right now. Alice Morgan from Luther. Luther, excellent show. The first couple seasons were better than the rest. Alice does leave the show and come back, and that's a great season. And I loved the movie, and I can't tell you whether or not she's in the movie, but definitely watch the television show. Watch the movie, too. If a lot of people that haven't watched the show watch the movie by itself, and they didn't like it, and I'm like, well, fucking watch the show, and you'll love it, because I did. Personally, I thought that the movie was good by itself without connecting to the show, but a lot of people didn't like the movie. Anyways, check out Alice on Luther on Pluto. Swim Fan. I want one of my first films. I want to make a movie based on like a crazy girl, a crazy ex-girlfriend that's crazy. And Swim Fan inspired me to make such a film. Very well made. I think it deserved a lot more attention for its day, but it stars Jesse Bradford. I can't remember your name. I can't remember your name, but Swim Fan, you can watch it on Stars. It is worth watching. And a lot of movies are like this, you know, crazy girl that's like would kill for love. And the original is Evelyn Draper from Play Misty for Me. Another big inspiration for me making a crazy girl film. And Evelyn Draper is actually played by Jessica Walters, who recently passed away the past couple of years, which is the mom from Arrested Development and Archer's mom. She's fucking... There's a scene like that, and it's fucking scary. This was the first film that Clint Eastwood actually directed. Excellent film. Check it out by renting it. And last but certainly not least is Jodie Comer's Villanelle from Killing Eve. I didn't finish the show. I want to finish it. I hear it's not worth finishing, but the first season is excellent. It was Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She wrote the first season, and she did a very great job doing it. But you can check this out on Netflix, Roku, and AMC+. Let's move on to some news. Recently, I forgot to mention Koba. We're not going to talk about Planet of the Apes because some people watch the show on a weekly basis and told me, hey, stop talking about the same thing over and over again. So I'm saving you, Robin, from talking about Planet of the Apes. But Koba, he made the list. Let's remember Robert Towne, who I forgot to put down the movies that he produced, but he passed away recently. He produced such films as Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible, The Firm, Days of Thunder, Frantic, 8 Million Ways to Die, Heaven Can Wait, Shampoo, The Yakuza, Chinatown, The Parallax View. Oh, this is writer. He was a writer. I'm sorry. He wrote all these movies. The Last Detail, the Man from U.N.C.L.E. television series, and some more stuff. So he was a writer. He was also a consulting producer on Mad Men. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, R.I.P. Robert Towne. You looked like you were super old, but it looks like you lived a long life. So that's good. Paramount is in talks to sell BET in $1.6 billion buyout to CEO Scott Mills. So a lot of people think that Tyler Perry owns BET because there's endless amounts of memes that were pushing it. Like, Tyler Perry bought BET. He didn't yet. There's still negotiations of who's going to buy it. I think Tyler Perry's still amongst the names of who could run it, but nothing official quite yet. Eddie Murphy was telling a story, and the story involved Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando said, everybody can act. This is how long ago it was. He was going, I can't stand that kid with a gun. Murphy added, I was like, what kid with a gun? Marlon Brando said, he's on the poster. I was like, Clint Eastwood? Clint Eastwood? Yeah, that guy. He's calling that Clint Eastwood, that kid. So apparently he didn't like Clint Eastwood. I think it was out of jealousy because, Marlon Brando got really old. I just thought that was a funny little story that Eddie Murphy told. Remember that movie Talk to Me? Excellent film directed by a couple of brothers. Those brothers are doing another movie soon called Bring Her Back. I believe it is going to be a horror film that is going to star Sally Hawkins. I don't have the plot here. Wanda Sykes is going to be working on a drama. I don't know how she's going to do. I love Wanda Sykes. Very funny woman. Decent actress, but I don't know if she can do drama. We'll find out with her dramatic role in the film called The Undercard, which follows her character's attempt to reconnect with 20-year-old son Keith, a talented but troubled young man played by Bentley Green, who has followed his mother's footsteps into the boxing ring. When Keith finds himself alone in his corner because of his gambling-addicted trainer, he is forced to turn to his mother. Determined to right past wrongs, she embarks on a mission to train her son for glory and world championship title fight. Does this mean Wanda Sykes is going to take boxing lessons? I can't picture Wanda Sykes moving very fast, except for Pootie Tang. She moved kind of fast in that. But she old. Can she do this? We'll find out soon. The actual son of Christopher Reeves, I don't know his name, but he's going to cameo in James Gunn's Superman. Not much news, just something for you to look out for when we watch the new Superman. There is a new trailer for the Formula One movie called F1, which stars Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. Looks so well made, and it's directed by Joseph Kosinski. Watch the trailer and tell me it doesn't remind you of Top Gun Maverick, because it looks like Top Gun Maverick, but on the racetrack, but with Damson and Brad Pitt instead of Miles and Tom Cruise. I think this movie might end up being better because I like these actors more than the latter two. My wives, Mary Louise Parker and Ayo Edinburgh, are making a movie. I don't know what it's called, but it stars Mary Louise Parker as a quantum physicist. If you don't know Mary Louise Parker, oh, buddy, watch Weeds. She plays a quantum physicist who finds herself in a time loop with a black hole growing in her chest and only a week to live. But what the doctors and her family don't know is that she has already lived this week before so many times. In fact, that she doesn't even know how long it's been until one day Zoya meets a gifted student named Paula, played by Ayo. Together, they team up to save her life and to unlock the mysteries of time travel. Very excited for this movie, baby. Agatha All Along has some vibes that were discussed in a teaser trailer that I watched 15 seconds of and shut it off. It looks good. Don't fuck it up. No one asked for this show, but I'm going to watch the fuck out of it. I love you, Catherine Hahn, and I really, really love WandaVision. Michael Winderbaum, something Winderbaum, a producer for the MCU, said Agatha is really fun, but it's really scary. It gets quite dramatic. She's an amazing anti-hero. It lures you in with the fun of Halloween, and before you know it, you're crying. It's a Marvel brand of scary. It's a Halloween show. There are deadly stakes in this series. It's a fun ride, but it's a dangerous one. That makes me really excited for this show. And then he talked a little bit about Daredevil Born Again. And I was not excited. And I think my excitement is completely gone from this Daredevil. It was slowly declining the more we got little bits of Daredevil, especially with Echo. I did not like Echo. But Winderbaum said, these characters have matured. The universe is different than it was. That sucks. Things have changed. Society has changed. Matt and Wilson have changed, and their characters are going to collide in ways that we've never seen before. This is the part that made me check out. It's no longer enough to try to murder each other. There's a whole game of politics at play. Oh, great. I love politics. Please give me politics. That sucks. But then he came in with some other good sounding news with another Marvel TV show, Eyes of Wakanda, where this is a story about a Wakandan history. It's produced by Ryan Coogler, directed by Todd Harris, and it's an awesome show. The action's insane, the storytelling fantastic. It's both the history of Wakanda, but it also expands into the greater MCU at different time periods. So hopefully this is really good. And speaking of superhero television shows, hell yeah, Kite-Man. Hell yeah. You are coming out. It's a spinoff of Harley Quinn. Very funny character. Interesting that they gave him a spinoff series. But this is coming up in a couple weeks, July 18th. It's going to be premiering on Max. PokerFace Season 2 is in production right now. I think it will be coming out with their first episode next year. Natasha Lyonne directed the first episode. I don't know how involved Ryan Johnson's going to be, and that kind of makes me not as excited for Season 2, but I'll watch it. I think it's got a pretty cool setup template, if you would. Jeremy Irons is going to be on the next season of The Morning Show, playing Jennifer Aniston's character's father. John Cena is going to leave the WWE. What does this relate to PopCorn Poppin? This means we're probably going to see him act in a lot more things. Outer Range got canceled. I'm not happy, but I'm happy that I was right to not get too invested in the show, because I watched the trailer for Season 2, and I'm like, I'm really glad I stayed out of the show, because it looks like you guys hardly answered any questions. And guess what? They probably left us hanging with a lot more questions that will never be answered because the show got canceled. Completely Made Up Adventures of Dick Turpin will have a Season 2. You can check this out on Apple TV+. I didn't watch the first season yet, but I hear it's very funny. So funny, in fact, they're getting a season 2. Trailer popping with some new series or movies. Actually, these are all movies. Childish Gambino's next film, aka Dong Lover, Bando, Stone, and the New World. Excellent trailer. Looks like a fun movie. I don't know about this technology of the villains. I think that looks kind of stupid, to be honest. But the movie looks really well made. And it's directed by Donald Glover. It's his first movie he's directed. So very excited for him. You can check out the trailer on YouTube right now. You also check out the trailer for John Cho's Afraid, which is an AI scary movie. And there's also Tyrese Gibson in 1992, a film about a man who's trying to find his son during the Rodney King riots or something. It looks fucking crazy. And Tyrese Gibson looks like he has another good leading man vehicle that we haven't seen since Waist Deep from back in the day. But you can check out these trailers online right now. Also, Jackpot. It looks kind of fun. If you don't like Aquafina, you probably won't like this movie. But I like Aquafina, and I like John Cena. This looks like a pretty good buddy movie. The shows that I'm watching that are on right now that we've talked about on this show before are as follows. What? Oh, right. Stand by. I got to add on the other one. But Jackpot, it looks like a really cool idea for a movie. It basically is, it's like when you play, what's that game? Call of Duty, where you pick up the thing where there's basically a bounty. When you pick up a bounty and you have so much time to stay alive, you get a bunch of money. That's what this show is, or this movie is going to be. I know, PD Pablo, I know, I got it. I fucked up. But we're back. House of the Dragon, crazy fucking episode. The best episode of the series. If you love dragons and you want to see dragons fighting, watch the latest episode of House of the Dragon. Super, super dope. Stupid dope. A lot of things I saw coming, but it did not disappoint with the execution. The Dance of Dragons is here, baby, and it's crazy. Catch up on Dance of Dragons on Max right now with new episodes airing on Sunday nights. Presumed Innocent, still a fun show. I really hope Jake Gyllenhaal's character is found guilty because he fucking sucks. The Boys, another great episode, even though I can't remember what happened. Oh, really sexual episode. Like, too much. Gross. Too much Huey ass. Ugh. It was a gross episode. Really, really sexual. Don't watch this episode with your parents. And honorable mentions of things that came out that I didn't have a chance to see that you might want to see that I may or may not have wanted to see in general. And that is Despicable Me 4. Take your kids to go see this in theaters right now. If you want to watch the other 3 first, check them out on Peacock. The Imaginary, you can check out on Netflix right now. Another thing for your kids. June 0. If you want to watch a really heavy Nazi film, check out this in theaters, directed by Jake Paltrow. And Escape, which features a North Korean soldier defecting to South Korea in a period piece. You can check out in theaters right now. Coming out this week, not much, guys. But if you want to check out a hopefully good horror movie that I forecast as boring, because the director, Oz Perkins, has made films that are very low rated online. A couple that I've tried watching on my own that I couldn't get through that looked really, really good, but are really low rated online. He directed The Black Coat's Daughter with the girl from Sabrina. Can't remember her name. Good actress, though. He also did Hansel and Gretel, and he did this movie. In a pursuit to find a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of oculate clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree. And it stars Maka Moore from It Follows, soon to be in the sequel They Follow, and Nicolas Cage is in this as well. The trailer looks good. I'm just saying, let's be cautious because the director has done movies that weren't very good. I'm going to rewatch these movies leading up to it and let me know what you think too. But basically the movies we got to watch to help us determine whether or not this movie is going to be good is The Black Coat's Daughter, which is with Kiernan Shipka And Emma Roberts. I didn't know she was in it. And also Hansel and Gretel. Or is it Gretel and Hansel? I think it's called Gretel and Hansel. It's Gretel and Hansel. Another movie. I remember trying to watch this and I was so bored. Both of these movies we can rent. But Gretel and Hansel stars the redheaded girl from It. So if you like those movies, you'll like this movie. I haven't watched them, so I don't know if this movie is going to be good. It should be, though. It should be. It's going to be a slow burn, though. In theaters Thursday. Fly me to the moon and watch Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson in a rom-com. In this movie, marketing Maven Kelly Jones wreaks havoc on launch director Cole Davis's already difficult task. When the White House deems the mission too important to fail, Jones is directed to stage a fake moon landing as backup. It looks fun, and it looks like an interesting storyline. When I first heard that the moon landing was fake, or the conspiracy that the moon landing was fake, I was like, you're fucking nuts. And then someone told me, yeah, but the conspiracy theory is Stanley Kubrick directed it. I was like, that's plausible. This is about kind of that. Or maybe it's based on a true story completely. I don't know. It looks fun. Will I go see it? I don't know. This looks like a Netflix movie more than a movie I'd want to go to theaters to watch. But it does look like a fun rom-com. I love Scarlett Johansson, one of my wives. And I love Channing Tatum. Very good at comedy and honestly not a bad leading man. Especially in rom-coms, like the one that he did with Sandra Bullock. That was pretty good. So I forecast this to be a fairly good rom-com to go see with your spouse. Popping enough for theaters? Who knows? I think you'll have a good date movie that's an easy watch that we don't have to wait for like Marvel shit to happen. And honestly, guys, I think this will be better. This is a better chance of being good than Long Legs. The only other movie that's coming out in theaters that looks okay. It looks like well made acting wise, but the story kind of looks like, I don't know if I want to watch that. It's called Sing Sing, starring Coleman Domingo. Divine G, imprisoned at Sing Sing for a crime he didn't commit, finds purpose by acting in a theater group alongside other incarcerated men in the story of resilience, humanity, and the transformative power of art. Like, that's a little too, like, flowery for me, but I like Coleman Domingo a lot. Petey Pablo says, I paused you because I'm watching it tonight. Oh, okay. I don't think I gave away, and I'm pretty good about not doing spoilers. But there is, I don't remember what I was talking about, but don't worry, I won't spoil whatever for you. Petey Pablo also says, I don't like superstitious superpower action, but Supercell was dope. Give me your input when it makes sense. It makes sense to talk about it now real quick. I discussed it a little bit last week. I had only watched the first episode. Halfway through the episode, I was like, I don't know if I like this show. But then when the series ended and like all of these unconnected characters were getting their powers, I was like, this looks kind of cool. It's like Black X-Men. And I think that that's really cool idea. And it's British, and I like the way they do certain things. I will continue it. I haven't had a chance to watch any new episodes recently, but I will check it out. Petey Pablo says it's good. So if you haven't watched Supercell yet, check it out yourself. I think I explained it pretty well, though. What else is coming out next week movie-wise is Divorce in the Black, written and directed by Tyler Perry. I don't know, man. It's got Megan Good, Ava, who plays Ava, a young bank professional who is devastated when her husband abandons their marriage. She's determined to fight until fate intervenes, revealing that wicked deeds that once upon a time sabotaged Ava's destiny to connect with her soulmate. It looks good, but I don't know, man. That Kelly Rowland movie, it was bad, but like it was like good bad. This looks like it could go horribly, horribly wrong. But I think I'll watch it at least in the background. You can watch it too on Prime this Thursday, Divorce in the Black. So my forecast is it's going to be bad, but like entertaining bad. If you like that Kelly Rowland movie, we'll probably like this. This is for your kids while you want to go shoot up H in the bathroom and sit them down in front of a TV whilst doing your H. Check out The Descendants, The Rise of Red. Have no idea what these movies are about, but I've always heard about these movies. I think that they're very popular amongst the youths. This is the 4th film that you can watch on Disney Plus Friday. Television show-wise, the new show that's coming out this week with Rashida Jones called Sunny follows Susie, an American woman living in Japan, and Sunny, a domestic robot made by her husband's company, as they uncover the dark truth of what really happened to Susie's husband and son, who disappeared in a mysterious plane crash. I checked out the trailer for this, and it looks like it could be not great, but it does look like it could be like weird fun. And I love Rashida Jones, so I'll be there for you. Because you're there for me too. Wednesdays on Apple TV Plus. Sausage Party Foodtopia, the new mini-series event that's going to be on Prime Thursday, follows Frank, Brenda, and Barry, and Sammy in an attempt to build their very own food community. This is going to be 8 episodes long. I don't know if all episodes are dropping on Prime Thursday, but all the voices are back. Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, and the gang is back for some food debauchery in Sausage Party Foodtopia. Prime Thursday. And finally, the last show that I'm not going to watch that some fans may like, because the original series that this series is based off of was deemed one of the best series ever made, that I did not have a chance to watch. Vikings Valhalla returns to Netflix on Thursday with their new season. I hear that this spinoff series isn't very great, but I hear Vikings was one of the best shows ever. So maybe that's something for you to be excited for. To sum up, I'm going to be definitely reviewing Longlegs, which is in theaters on Thursday. I might check out, I forgot what this is called already, Fly Me to the Moon, which is in theaters Thursday. And I will definitely be checking out Sunny, which is on Apple TV Plus Wednesday, and Sausage Party Foodtopia, which I will be checking out on Prime Thursday. If you want to watch the original Foodtopia, the original Sausage Party, it's probably on Prime. You can check it out on Netflix right now, but the new series is going to be on Prime. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff, all the things. I really appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if we got underneath an hour. I did it, but you did it too by hanging in there with me. I'm fucking proud of us, guys. Please share, please tell your friends, like, hey, if you want to watch something that's pretty good, watch Towne or the Popcorn Poppy on this. I am going to leave you with an advertisement for Watch Party, which is on Saturdays at the Black Box Theater. It's where we get together and watch an television show, an episode of television, and we talk about it. We talk about like what makes good TV, what makes bad TV, and whether or not you would keep watching this if you'd like. We also play games. You will win free prizes, and there's free pop and free snacks as well. Black Box Theater, Planet Ant. Go to it. You can check it out for yourself. And yeah, that's it, guys. I'm heading out, and I'm going to leave you with a trailer for the Watch Party. See you next week. Bye.
Honey, I'm home from work.
Oh, I have to tell you about something Jimmy told me about at the playground.
Little Jimmy?
Yeah, little Jimmy. He told me about this thing called Watch Party.
Oh no, they were talking about that at the water cooler today.
I'm so worried. What have you heard about it?
Well, I heard that it was a lot of like-minded people showing up to watch educational video.
No, I heard they have snacks.
Free snacks and drinks is what I heard as well.
That's how they get you. And you know what? I'm sure it's gonna be expensive.
Actually, I heard it was free.
I heard free is a gateway drug.
You know what? This watch party thing doesn't sound so bad.
No, not another one.
Watch Party for educational purposes.